Has there ever been a time where you wanted to help a family member and you just didn't have the money to do so? Or has there ever been a time where maybe you wanted to do something for yourself because you haven't done anything for yourself in a long time, but for whatever reason, money has presented you from being able to even treat yourself to something that's not even over the top, but it might even be basic in a sense to you. Well, listen, if you've had any type of like money struggles and you've wanted to help or what you wanted to do something, or maybe you've missed memories because you didn't have the money to create them, or you didn't have the money to spend with those who are also creating memories without you. Well, in this video, I want to show you 7 rules on how to get rich. And if you understand these 7 rules, it will put you in a position that's probably light years ahead of where you currently are right now. And I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen overnight. I'm saying that when you implement these things, it's going to just propel you faster and put you in a position that you might not be in right now. But the first thing I want to say is this: like when it comes to getting rich and building wealth, the thing that you really want to understand that is possible, because sometimes we don't even get over that hurdle. No matter what information or what strategy or what somebody shares with us, everything after that does not matter because we don't even believe that it's possible for us. So understand that it is possible, and it's also possible for you, because again, if you don't understand that one nugget, then nothing else that I'm going to say or anybody else can say for that matter is going to actually matter. And why do I say that without even knowing you? I say that because even without knowing you, I know that there is a level of intelligence that you have, there's a level of integrity that you have, and there's a level that like, you're just flat out smart. And I think you really believe that at its core, even though you might have doubts and things like that. And when you look around just the world of the internet, there's people that are making a lot more money than you, but they're not smarter than you. They don't have more integrity. They don't have more awareness. Like there's so many things that they don't have that you do have, but what they do have is the ability to take action on certain things that maybe you didn't take action on, or maybe they have this belief, because there are some people who, for whatever reason, they're just a lot more confident than they should be. Like just being real, like some people should not be as confident as they actually are. Like, I remember when I was younger, like way before I was married and things like that, and I would see like these guys who got like these just beautiful women that just look like models, and it's like, man, has anybody told him that he don't deserve to be with her? Like he does not deserve like that level of woman. But nobody told him that he didn't look that great, or nobody told him that he had a gut, or nobody told him like, man, like this, she really ain't on your level. Nobody told him that, so he had a belief that he deserved it. And sometimes it's like people actually connect with other people not because of the external, but it's because of the internal. Like, man, I know, like in all accounts, I probably shouldn't be with you, but it's something about you that's drawing me to you. And I don't really know what that is, but what it is that person's level of belief. Like they flat out believe it to be true. And sometimes we don't even realize we buy belief more than we do anything else. And even when I'm saying buy, meaning like not just in exchange of money, but sometimes we exchange time and sometimes we exchange certain resources. But the thing that is important for you to do is sell yourself on that is possible for you, like starting there. And I will say this before I even get into the 7, like one thing that's also important, and I think this kind of goes without saying, but I want to say it anyway, is to always operate with the highest level of integrity and approach things with the most intelligence as you possibly can. Now that we have those out of the way, now I want to get to the 7, because these 7 things are things that I actually utilize on my journey to get to where I am. And it's certain things that on this list that I didn't do, and as a result of not doing it, I made a huge mistake. I'll just share this. Years and years ago, I invested about $35,000 into a business with a friend of mine. Now he's brilliant on all accounts. Everything was great, but it's certain things in these rules that I did not follow going into that $35,000 investment that caused me to lose it all. And I'm the kind of person that if my pain can help somebody else, then my pain had a purpose. So if I can help you to avoid some of the things that I've, fell into and didn't avoid, and some of the things that I did avoid that caused me to have success, then it's all well worth it. So and this is in no particular order per se, but the first thing that I want to share with you in terms of these 7 rules is to always pay attention to the facts and not emotions. Because right now, and I won't even say the names, but there's a lot of emotional hype around certain brands and invest in this and do this. And it's like people are really investing in the emotions of other people's marketing, not even really the product itself or the stock itself or whatever it is, because I don't even want to say what it is, but people are investing in the emotions of other people's marketing. And it's like you never ever want to invest in the emotions of other people's marketing, because not only does it keep you from building wealth and getting rich, but it keeps you stuck, it keeps you broke, and it keeps you suffering, because that's really the thing that people don't realize that they are victims of. They are victims of other people's marketing. So often you see people have like all of these different items in their house, things in their room, workout equipment that they haven't used in years or probably never used, period. And all of those things that they have in their house are things that they spent money on and they never used it, or they aren't using it. And they were the victims of somebody's marketing. Like they were like they were the emotional victims of somebody's marketing. And so what they did is they invested in something from an emotional perspective based on how good somebody marketed that. And now it's like, man, if I could just get $20 for this thing that I paid $300 for, I would feel great just to get it out of my house. And it happens so often because people don't have certain rules in place before they make a purchase or before they make an investment. And so this is really important, to truly pay attention to the facts and not just emotions. Because even when it comes to like investing in something or even starting a business per se, both things are totally different. They have two different approaches, but there are certain things that's common among both. And when you think about the the opportunity and the possibility for something, one of the best things that you could do to truly never have regret is to remove all emotion and just stick with the facts of this. Because I really believe in my heart that the worst thing in life to live with is regret. And one of the best ways to avoid regret is to ask yourself certain questions before you make certain purchases. And one of the biggest questions that I typically always ask myself is, what's the purpose of me doing this? Like if it's a business that I want to start, like what's the purpose of me starting this business? Like what am I looking to get out of it? What am I looking for it to do for me? And there's some instances where being selfish is the best thing that you can do. And in this instance, when it comes to investing, especially if it's not hurting anybody, if it's not illegal, it's critical to be selfish. Whether it's stocks or whether it's businesses, it's critical to be selfish. And so asking yourself the question, like, what is this going to do for me, will cause you to approach it in a very different way. What am I expecting out of this? Like it'll cause you to approach it in a different way, because when you ask yourself those type of questions, it causes you to even have a realization that maybe this is not even something I want to invest in, because your reputation is worth more than money. And so some investments, it's like, do I really want to be associated with this longer term or even short term for that matter? And you might realize that I'm good. I don't want to. I don't want to invest in that. I don't want to. Start this business because of like certain associations, even though it could have a lot of opportunity there. Like I'll share. Just being totally transparent. There was a phenomenal opportunity I had from a financial perspective to make certain investments that I know would have made me a ton of money, but it went against my integrity because it was investing in private prisons. Now, one of my first books that I wrote years and years ago, a part of one of the chapters talked about private prisons and just, pretty much how it's modern day slavery. And again, I know people, I might get hate mail for it, things like that, because some people, they only focus on the dollar. I'm not the person that only focuses on the bottom line, the dollar figure. Like that's not me, because it's like if I'm making money at the expense of somebody's life or a system that's set up and designed to enslave people, then that's bad money to me. Because all money is not created equal, just like all opportunities are not created equal. And so there are certain things that it's important for you to understand the long-term implications and how you want to be associated with it or not associated with it not. So it's really important to understand and pay attention to the facts and not just the emotions to truly see it for what it is. Now, the other thing that I really encourage you to do in terms of these rules, and this is a rule that I live by, and I've learned this from people that are way more successful than me, is to only invest in things that you understand. I remember, man, it was probably about 7 years ago. Man, I hope you don't get mad for me saying this, but one of my younger brothers approached me about cryptocurrency. I had never even heard the term before, nothing. I had never heard of it. But it wasn't just cryptocurrency, it was an MLM teaching about cryptocurrency that if you invest in this company, you weren't even getting cryptocurrency. But it was just like the promise of this big wave of cryptocurrency that they were going to get from these, people who were giving them um, like certain portions of Bitcoin, you know. But I had no clue of what it was about or what he was even talking about. But man, he was like over the moon, just hyped up, excited. And I never seen him like this excited in my life. And he was just talking about like all of this money and like, man, you can become a millionaire in 6 months. And like these people are like 17 years old. And, you know, and it was just like overhyped. And I just started doing research because I'm like, look, man, you my brother. I love you. Like, I'll invest in you, but I'm not going to invest in things that I don't understand. And I remember I did a little bit of research, and one of the first things that came up when I did research on this specific company was scam. Like, because again, I didn't know anything about crypto, but it was just, one of the complaints was they're selling you a course. They're not selling you an investment. They're selling you a course. And again, if you're buying a course, cool, but understand that's what it is, and it's not something more than that. And so essentially, like I did not invest. Some other people did invest. Long story short, they lost a lot of money, and they were disappointed because there are some people where they hate their job and they're looking for any opportunity to quit. And so they're thinking like, man, I'm going to use this to retire from my job and fire my job in 3 years. And it's like, no, you got to stay there a little bit longer because this investment was an unwise investment because you did not understand it. Now, am I saying to never invest in things that you don't have an awareness in? I'm not saying it at all, but I'm saying before you invest, make sure you do your due diligence and understand exactly what it is and what this investment is. So even if somebody asks you, what did you invest in? You can give them an intelligent answer as to what you invested in. And even if you don't explain it to anybody else, have that explanation for yourself. Because it's important for you to understand yourself what you invested in. Because it's like when people invest in things that they don't understand, they have unrealistic expectations on the return. And that can be a nightmare on so many different levels. So the thing that I want to encourage you to do just from that second point is to make sure that whenever you invest in something you understand. Because when you invest in things you understand, you can find vertical opportunities and horizontal opportunities. I said vertical and horizontal, but yeah, so horizontal and vertical opportunities in that same area because you understand how it works and how it operates. Because we have something called the reticular activation system, and that's just a fancy word to say that like once you have an awareness about something, you start to see that thing wherever you're looking. Like if it's a red car that you're interested in, you've never seen these red cars before, but all of a sudden you start seeing these red cars everywhere. The same thing holds true when it comes to financial opportunities. It's like when you understand what you're investing in, now you start to see vertical and horizontal opportunities like all around you. And so it just helps you to seek and find ways to leverage and maximize this money because you understand how it works. And it's like when opportunities come that's in that same family, if you will, you can actually decipher it, in a very simple way, if you will. I don't want to say easy, but I'll say simple. The next rule is this is very, very important. Number one, to put yourself in positions where you can seize opportunity and also seize opportunity when you see it. Certain like there's certain opportunities that only come around once in a lifetime, or once a year or once or whatever you want to, call it, if you will. And sometimes people are not in a position to take advantage of the opportunity. They see it. It makes all the sense in the world. They understand it. They just don't have the means to participate. And you never want to be in a position where you can participate in something that can expedite your freedom, but you don't even have the initial funds to start it. So it's very, very critical to prepare for opportunities before they get there, because once they get there, the preparation time is too late. And it's also important to understand that there are times where there could be no opportunity in sight unless you look for it, because there's always opportunities, even when the economy is horrible, or if it's great from this side but it's bad on this side. Like, it's always great opportunities all around you in any area or market that you can even imagine, whether starting a business, it's stocks. Like, it's always great opportunities, but you just have to look for them, because sometimes people put so much emphasis on the negative that they only see the negative. But if you put emphasis on the positive and you give energy to the positive, then that's the outcome that your conscious and your unconscious mind is going to look for and seek, and cause you to take advantage of. And I will say this: there are times where there might not be a lot of opportunity. There's times where it's just neutral. And during those times are times where you might have to create the opportunity. Now, create might mean starting a business around something, or giving other people the ability to make money from something that maybe you start, and it may not necessarily be like a business per se, but it could be like an investment in something else, but you don't have the funds, but other people have the funds, but you have the knowledge and the wisdom and the opportunity in front of you. And I'll be honest, I've done that several times where I didn't have the money, but opportunities came my way, and I thought through, how can I make this a win-win-win-win? A win for them, a win for me, and a win for the investment that I want to invest in, even though I don't have the funds, but they do. And it worked out great. And so I just want to encourage you to like look for opportunities, but understand that sometimes you have to create opportunities. But understand that opportunities are always there. I might regret this, but I want to recommend a book. And I typically don't regret like recommend books, because there's so many. Like, I read a lot of books, and there's so many different books that I read and references, things like that. And it's like, I don't want to reference all of those books because it can be overwhelming. But one book that I truly recommend from the perspective of creating opportunities is a book called The Third Door. Like, that book is absolutely incredible. Walks you through step-by-step processes, how there's always a third door, and there's always another opportunity that maybe somebody like didn't see or didn't think of, or it just wasn't even their awareness. But the person who got mega rich from this unlikely opportunity was somebody who looked for the third door. They found it and they created the opportunity. So I want to encourage you to read that book if you're a reader at all, and understand that opportunity is all around you, and sometimes you have to create it. Now, the next rule is this, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. But it's very, very important to never respond emotionally to economic changes. So one of the best things that I think that anybody can do, whether it's trying to build wealth, get rich, or just be an overall better person, is to cut off or stop watching the news altogether. Because if you've ever seen Chicken Little, you heard about Chicken Little, like the sky is falling, like every single day on the news, the sky is falling on so many different levels of life. And if you focus too much on the news, it will cause you to feel hopeless and cause you to feel like, what's the purpose of investing in anything? Because next week, the whole world is going to end. So what does it matter about me getting a return on investment next month? So it's like, if you have that thought process and that mindset, why would you create anything? Because it's not even going to be around for you to actually get a return. And that's what they'll cause you to think. And like, that's the job of the news. Like, the greatest currency right now is attention. And it's like, whatever they could do to keep and get your attention, they're going to do it, even if it means lying, manipulating, selling you fear, and causing you to feel like the world is going to end and blow up all around you. And it's like, when we truly like disconnect from that, it causes us to have like sound advice when we move forward with getting rich and building wealth and things like that. Because it's like, why would anybody build wealth if there's never going to be a chance to actually enjoy it, either for them or the people that they love? And so it's very, very important to Like never respond emotionally to economic changes. And the other like reality with that is like maybe the economy could be bad, inflation could be up, unemployment could be up, things are just not going good for most people. You want to make sure that you are not participating in the negativity. A few years ago, we had a quote unquote recession. And I remember, a few of my friends were asking me, well, what do you think about the recession? And like, how are things with you in this recession? And my response was the same with all of them and with everybody. I don't choose to participate in it. A recession is something that only happens to willing participants. I don't choose to participate in that. I don't choose to be a willing participant of it. Now, I'm not saying that there are some people where like they might have lost their job and they had no clue of this happening to them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that even people who lose their jobs still don't have to participate in a recession because there's always more opportunities, especially when you look for them. And especially when you put yourself in a position where you could take advantage of opportunities when they arise. Because when things go bad for a lot of people, unfortunately, that's a lot of opportunity. But most people don't have the means to take advantage of some of those opportunities because they haven't prepared beforehand. And again, I'm not talking about like taking advantage of people's, unfortunate situations. I'm saying that like there's times where somebody, they might lose their house. Like they might lose their house either way. But it's like they can either get $5,000, leave their house and have their credit intact, or they can lose their house altogether with no money, foreclosed on, and their credit is hit at the same time. So it's been, and I don't want to get into this like too much because this is not that video, but there's something called a subject to. And subject to is something that is going to be extremely like I think it's just going to be more popular, if you will, in the coming months and even the coming years to come, because there's so many people that are not going to be able to afford their mortgages any longer. And some of these people have like so much equity in their home, like, 20,000, 50,000, $100,000 in equity, but they can no longer pay the note. And for some of them, it's like they just want to get a little bit of money to go live in an apartment somewhere and to not mess up their credit. And for some people, they might be able to give somebody in these positions, $5,000 or $10,000, and they take over this person's note. And how is that beneficial to both sides? It's beneficial, obviously, to the person who's putting, five or $10,000 down because they're walking into something that have, fifty to $100,000 worth of equity that they're only paying, $10,000 for. How is it helping the person on the other side? Because it's like if this person can't pay their mortgage, they obviously don't have money. So if they get $10,000, it's like, wow, I can take this $10,000 and live off of for a very long time in this other place that I move in because I can downside and I can keep my credit intact. So it's a win-win. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail with that, but it's a win-win all the way around. But people who are not putting themselves in a position to take advantage of opportunities when they come, they will never take advantage of them when they come. And the reality is they always come, especially if you look for them. So it's very important to not respond emotionally to the different economic climates because so often people participate willingly and unwillingly because they respond emotionally to all of the negativity that's been created in the news and in the media by certain people who are just doing it to keep their job. Like it's not even personal. Some of the negativity that people put in the news is just them trying to keep their job. And hey, for some, it's not personal, but that's something that you never want to participate in from a negativity perspective and just from an economic perspective as well. That is not going to increase like your revenue and get you rich and build generational wealth, for you and your family. Now, the second rule, and this is one. Honestly, I struggle with this for a very long time, and honestly, I still have some areas of improvement to go in this area. But when it comes to getting rich, one of the critical rules to getting rich is having a team of experts. Now, you might be thinking, man, I don't know anybody. I don't have a network. I don't have resources. Believe it or not, you have more of a network than you even understand, and you have more resources than you understand. And maybe it's just people that you have not met yet, because there are people who have all of the skill sets in the world, but they don't have the opportunities to put those skill sets behind. And so it's like if you have an idea and you can find other people who can help you move this idea forward, you'll be amazed at how much like money and time and resources that people will put behind a vision based on somebody they don't even know, but they just believe in this vision so strong that they will actually put their resources behind it to make it happen because of the promise on the other end. And so when it comes to building a team, like there are some times where if if you have a vision to do something and you start putting your vision out there, people will start referring other people to you because they're like, look, this person can help you move your vision forward. And this person will find meaning and value by allowing their skill set to be used for something that's positive, and they're going to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Because if we're honest, most of us, we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And so when you have a dream or a vision to do something, people want to be a part of that. And it's like, even though you might not have all of the resources, you might even have all of the money. It's people that have a lot of money, but they have no creativity and they have like no connections with people. Like they got money, but they have no connections and none of the other resources to truly make it happen. So there's people who are looking to put their money behind something that they can find fulfillment in. Because again, if somebody just has money but no fulfillment, that's not really helping them. It's not doing them any good. And that's why so many rich and wealthy people they give to different causes, like philanthropic causes, nonprofits and things like that, because that helps them to feel like they have purpose, like they have meaning. And sometimes you could do the exact same thing when you have a vision to do something. And it's like, even if you don't have a vision to do something like start this big business and things like that, no matter what it is, it's important for you to have a team. So like, even if you want to invest in certain things, like let's say the stock market, for instance, there's people that know the stock market front and back, and they will give you the game for free. All you have to do is just ask the person. And because it's you'll be amazed at how many like rich and wealthy people that are so generous with their information. But sometimes people are intimidated by them, or people have false perceptions about them, or people just have these negative thoughts that this person is evil, or they stepped on somebody or did somebody wrong, or they'll never talk to me because what do I have to give? Like we have all of these different stories sometimes that we create that stands in the way of opportunity that somebody on the other side is just waiting to give us. And so building a team is very, very critical because no matter who you are, like me included, we can't do it alone. Like we can't do it by ourselves. And so often people try to, and it's like, like they've been burned by other people, or they just want to not give anybody the satisfaction of saying that they help me. And they want to do it all by themselves. And to a certain extent, that is very damaging and it's very demeaning and is one of the slowest path to get rich. Because it's like if you do it all to yourself, it might take you 20 or 30 years. But if you take a team with 30 or 40 years of experience collective to help you move this forward, you might cut that down from 20 years to one because of all of this knowledge that you have spread out from this team of people that you have supporting and helping you to do whatever it is you want to do. Or even if it's not even something to that extent, but it's something as simple as making some kind of investment on, some kind of level. You enlisting people to be on your team can, number one, help you from a tax perspective, and you not, get hit with all of these taxes that you didn't know about later on. Or it can help you to save money on the front end because you're not losing your shirt from investing in something that you don't understand, and you don't even understand the pathway that it takes to educate yourself on these things, because there are certain things where it takes you not just educating yourself, but it takes you knowing specifically how to educate yourself, because all education is not created equal, and everything that's out here is not necessarily true, updated, or is actually helpful in the direction that you want to go in, because there's some information that's just outdated. But if there's no data on it and you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know that what you're following is something that's going to take you in a very opposite direction that you want to go in. So I'm just saying, like, this is a rule that super wealthy people and just wealthy people just in general take, is that they have a team of experts that help them to get to where they are, and they're not always the people. And what I'm saying by this is I'm saying the experts are very smart, but the people who have them on their team, sometimes they're not the smartest people. If you know anything about Robert Kiyosaki hires people that are way smarter than him to help him get to where he's going. And that guy is phenomenal on so many different levels. And it's happened because of the team of people that he's created to help him to get there. And the same thing can hold true for you. Maybe it not be to that extent. Maybe you don't even want to get to that level, but the same principles apply when truly getting to where you want to be, that you can't do it, alone. Now, here's one of the critical, important rules to getting rich and building wealth is whenever you invest in anything, it does not matter what it is, it's very important to understand what is the net number. What is the net number? Because there's people that, man, they make millions of dollars doing drop shipping, millions of dollars on Amazon, millions of dollars as an influencer, millions of dollars selling Facebook ads, millions of dollars doing all these different things. But when you look at how much they bring home, somebody could probably go work at McDonald's and make just as much money as this person that made all of these millions because of all of the expenses that this person had to pay in order to make the millions. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way on either side, the McDonald's or Amazon or wherever else. I'm just saying, like, whenever you invest in anything, it's very important to understand what is the net number. Like, what is the number that I'm going to walk away with? Yes, the potential is phenomenal. Like you could make six figures in this or seven figures in that, but what is the actual cost to make that money? Because that's really important. Because it's and I'll be honest, it's been times where I've invested in something, like I put money into it, I put time into it, I put effort into it, I put energy into it. I even enlisted other people into this thing that I'm doing. And it's like when I think about the net and how much I made, I could have worked at fast food and made probably 4 times the amount of money with about 10 times least amount of time. So it's very important that whatever you invest in, understand what the net is, because there's a lot of opportunities out here that make big promises to make a lot of money. And it's true. However, some of them don't tell you how much it's going to cost you to make that money, because there's some money that is just too expensive. And you want to understand, anytime you invest in something, what is the cost? Like what is the cost and what is the net that you're going to walk away with and take home? And even if you can't get the exact number, at least get like some kind of roundabout, number that you can actually get a feel for. Is this worth your time? Because that's really ultimately what it's about. And the last rule is, when it comes to getting rich and getting wealthy, you want to understand what is the financial lifespan. Because there's so many things over the years where it's come and it was hot, but it's gone. And so often people like ride these waves and they know the bottom is going to fall out. They just don't know when. And that's extremely dangerous, because it's like if you can make money off of something extremely fast, you can lose it even faster. And so when you invest in something, even if you start a business, it's like, even before you start a business, you want to understand whatever the focus is of the business you want to start, what is the lifespan financially of this business? Like, are people still going to be buying this service, this skill set, or this product, 5 or 10 years from now? And if not, this is probably not something that I want to invest my time in my life doing, because it doesn't have a long shelf life. Because there are certain things that, even with all of the technology and the AI and things moving rapidly in our world changing, like, there are certain things that's always going to be around regardless to what. Kind of like food. Like, unless, everybody just adopts this robot mentality and they no longer have to eat, like, food is something that people always are going to need to survive. And there's opportunities that's equivalent to food, but in other areas it's just going to be around. And so when you invest, you want to make sure you understand what the financial lifespan is before you invest in something. And I know people do it all the time. Like, they invest in these things that have a high return, but it also has a high risk. And I just encourage you to stay away from that. And again, if you not just take my advice, but if you look at like most other wealthy people as well, and just super wealthy people, the same rules apply. they invest in things that have a long shelf life, like real estate, for instance. People are going to always need somewhere to live. And real estate is a great thing for people to invest in because it's going to be around 5, 10, 20, plus years from now. And again, even if you can't, afford real estate right now on that level, traditionally, I'll just say that because there's creative ways you can get real estate without even having money, period. But even finding something that's equivalent to that, that's going to be around at least 5, 10 years from now before you make any type of investment. But if you follow these rules, like this will help you to not just get rich, but it'll help you to stay rich. Because I think one of the worst experiences that people can have is to make all of this money, have these mountaintop experiences, and they got to go back and live in the valley for the rest of their lives. That's sad. I don't want that for you. So my hope for you is that you take these different strategies and you take these 7 strategies and you apply these to your life to get rich. Because if you keep them at the forefront of everything that you do, you'll never regret that you did it.